All right, perfect. Hey, April, thanks for doing this. Yeah, so we're at kind of the back end of the momentum program here. We're 4 months in and just kind of bringing things to a close. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us who you are, what you do, your lifting background.
I'm April. I have been lifting for a little over a year and a half now. I did my first competition back in August. And after that competition, I really wanted to up my game and find a coach that was really willing to help me on all my lifts. And so I did some research and I found you.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and we met through Facebook initially, I believe, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything was through your public page. So.
Gotcha. So what issues did you have with your training? Like, what problems were you facing before we started working together?
Well, I had a shoulder injury. So we did do some rehab over the 16 weeks, especially with regards to bench. I really wanted to increase that PR for bench. We did quite a bit of accessory work to work on the strength of my shoulder, but also make everything a little more even on both sides. I thought the accessory work that we did do was very helpful, and I still carry that forward in a lot of my downtime exercises.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so the main issue you were facing initially was not so much a lack of strength progression per se, but more just making sure your shoulder didn't become a big issue as you progressed, right?
Yeah. I mean, strength was an added bonus, but I definitely was just trying to get that rehabbed and strength enough to really push numbers. So
yeah, completely. So yeah, when we started training, basically we started out with lighter phase of training, getting you kind of your first introduction to volume training for powerlifting as well. And all the fatigue and stuff that comes with that. But at the same time, we capitalized on that lighter training with spending a bit more time working on different variations and accessories, like you said, and working on correcting those asymmetries at both a strength and a postural level. And that seemed to lay a really strong foundation, not just with the rep PRs and the added muscle to your frame, but also just getting everything aligned and building awareness and technique to where when we got to our second and third blocks, you're able to push the strength pretty far and hit some pretty good PRs as we went. This was kind of a blend between traditional powerlifting periodization and then accessory work, bodybuilding style, if you will, and then more postural breath work and rehab, quote unquote, stuff as well. So all said and done, where did things end up for you? What were the results at the end of the 4 months?
So my coming into my numbers, so bench was max about a 155. I just PR'd at 180. Deadlift coming into it, my PR was about 315 on a strong day. Now I'm pulling like doubles for 315 on strong days. So my deadlift has gotten really strong. My mental game needs to follow that strength with the deadlift. My squat, I just have gone from a max of like 280. I just hit the 305 club. I'm super stoked about that. So my strength, my technique in squat is just through the roof right now. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, and you'd even had that day on deadlifts 3 or 4 weeks ago where you hit 320 for the double as well.
Yeah. See, and it's totally making sure my head follows my strength, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the mental game, actually, that was one other thing we added to the process as well, is just the visualization side of things. And like you said, making sure your mind is just as strong as your body, right?
Yeah.
So what were some of the big lessons you learned along the way with the momentum program?
I think the biggest one was posture and technique of body position within both the lifts, but also the accessory work, making sure that my chest was open enough, I was in the right alignment, making sure that before I hit it, I was set. All the setup was done before I even left the floor or left the rack. I think that was my main thing in terms of all the lead up, because everything was sort of offset. the shoulder was funky. There was unevenness, both pulling and pushing. So a lot of that was really posture and bringing that all together and making sure that you saw that. And when you did see that, the correction was made.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, really the posture and just setting the alignment, being conscious about your execution as opposed to just simply lift weights, put them back down, right?
Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the tempo, that was never a thing for me. Now you live in tempo. You're constantly lifting and pulling in tempo. Like I can't not lift now in tempo. So
yeah, you've got that internal metronome almost.
Yeah.
And that was, I think, a really, really effective tool for you for just developing not just technique, but also awareness as to what's going on, because you can't blow by some of those corrections or compensations that had, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So let's say someone was in the same situation as you. Their strength is going, their strength training is going not bad, but they feel like, hey, I've got a few aches and pains, maybe my shoulder, maybe I've got a bum knee. How should I go forward?
Talk to Matt Taylor. No, you know what, really for me was just reminding myself that it's about the process. It's not about, the end game was really great, but the process to get to where I wanted to be was the most important part. So like I said, rehabbing the shoulder, getting my posture aligned, really focusing on what the numbers look like, what the numbers showed, and sticking to those and not veering away as much as you really want to lift heavy. You have to stick to what it says and just follow the process and really enjoy the process, because trust me, the end game was just tenfold. Like there was weeks where I was like, I don't understand this. Why am I doing this? But then the week would come and it'd be like, now I know. And this is why. Right. So just really follow the process and trust it. Don't allow your brain to wander away and you're trying to do whatever it is you want to do. Right. You've come here for a reason. So try and stick to that reason.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, it's, the payoff is there. You just got to be trusting in that process and patient with it, basically. Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Any final thoughts or things you'd want to add?
Not that I can think of. Just thanks for supporting me and believing in me and assisting me in all my lifts and my gym time and putting the effort into my programming.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
No worries. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Bye.